I think we'll get there eventually, Deirdre, but yesterday was almost an out-of-body experience for us as Republicans because you had all the Republicans in the Senate voting with the President of the United States and all the Democrats in the Senate voting against the President of the United States. And so they really did leave him twisting in the wind, and I think they've realized what a mistake that was. So they're back at the table. We'll get this worked out. Hopefully we'll get enough, the requisite number of Senate Democrats to pass this through the Senate. It's really important that we do that. I think everybody realizes how important trade is and how critical it is that we be at the table.
So, Senator, I'm going to bring in my other guest here, Ed Conard, in just a minute, but I want to ask you about something that Senator Schumer has suggested. That is to say, to vote on the bills as a single package and grant President Obama this kind of fast-track license, if you will. What do you make of that?
Well, they were trying to dictate the terms of the deal after the fact. There was an understanding when it came out of the Finance Committee about how this was going to proceed on the floor. Senator Hatch had that understanding, his staff, everybody else, and then all of a sudden the Democrats decided they wanted to move all these things as a big package. But we'll get it worked out. The important thing is that we get the Trade Promotion Authority through the Senate over to the House, because that's what enables these trade agreements, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the EU trade agreement to move forward. And that's where all the positive benefits and impacts on our economy come from, the jobs that go with it. So that's the important piece of this. The other things are things that the Democrats care deeply about, and frankly, the Republicans, we care about some of the things in those bills too, but we want to make sure that TPA moves forward.
Okay, the TPA moving forward, and you just said something key there, Senator, about jobs. Ed Conard was laughing at your comment about it being an out-of-body experience. But Ed, from a business person's perspective, what is your take on this?
Well, I think it's obvious that trade is good for the economy overall, but I think we have to be sensitive to the fact that we do buy low-wage, low-skilled labor overseas, and we sell high-skilled wages or labor overseas, to our partners overseas. That's going to have an effect on certain parts of our economy, the poor, the working-class Americans, and that's going to lead to complicated
sum total,
economics.
What I'm hearing you saying is that, look, like it or not, low-wage workers will be squeezed.
Yeah, but I think you can't micromanage the negotiating process or trade as a way to solve that strategic problem. You can solve that, say, with progressive income taxes, and hopefully our progressive income taxes take it into consideration. But the idea that Congress is going to get in there and try to attach pork barrel bills and things like that to the trade agreement, and then try to declare currency manipulation, this time, that time, this country, that country, it's preposterous to think we could make any progress.
Speaking of this currency manipulation, Senator Thune, I want to bring you back to what extent is this important for the party and for the country, quite frankly, that the U.S. have a strong presence, strong trading partners in Asia? That is to say, the U.S. is there and runs the board a little bit more than, let's say, China.
Right. It's really important, Deirdre. It's important for strategic reasons. Clearly the economy benefits. And to Ed's point, I think the one advantage that you have in these trade agreements, too, is when you've got more competition in this country, it also lowers the cost of goods for a lot of people, particularly low-income people who need to have some of those prices lowered. So there are some benefits from that. But frankly, the important thing is that we check China's influence in the region. These trading partners are all really important for South Dakota agriculture, for farmers and ranchers in my state, but it's really important for strategic reasons that we have an influence in that part of the world, not just economically, but that we're just active, that we're visible, that we're present, and I think that reassures a lot of our allies there.
All right. We thank you, as always, Senator John Thune, joining us there. He represents the state of South